Okay. Hey, Austin, how you doing? Uh, I think he's gonna play 3-4 end for us, but if we were running a 4-3, yeah, he can play 3 tech. I think that's totally believable. Nax should be joining us in a little bit, by the way, just so you guys know. I just okay. I mean, while we're here, let's try this. So we want to go this way. No, Mario's never played tackle to my knowledge. Or if he has, he hasn't played it that much.
Take the dog.
Uh, how you doing?
I'm okay.
Anything memorable happened today?
Not really.
Which is actually makes it one of the best days of the year for you so far.
Yeah. I should have said I think so, but I forgot.
That is pretty good. That's a good one. So I'm gonna go for a few hours tonight, but I got stuff to do tomorrow morning, so I'm not gonna go too
Cool.
long.
Yeah. Checking, continuing to read the forums because, like, I know, we got ants in the pants to play it. So the minute I see what I interpret as a green light, I'm willing to go on Diablo. But here's the thing: I saw people saying that there are times where it's good to play. The times where it's good to play is like early morning, right up to beginning of the afternoon for our time here Pacific, because that's when the majority of the United States is at work or school, and Europe and Asia are asleep. But obviously that doesn't work because
Yeah,
you're working. Even
right.
though I'm on vacation right now, and then once I'm not on vacation, I'll be working. So like, what the hell's the point? And then as soon as East Coast gets out of work and gets home, so like 3 in the afternoon for us, basically from 3 in the afternoon to like 2 a.m. It's just completely fucked.
13 for 3. 13 on 3S. You think about switching to YouTube with the new changes Twitch is doing. Not that the new changes would really affect you, but still. I think about that all the time. I do wonder, because my Twitch channel for the last couple months has basically been completely stagnant. So the discoverability is not really helping me. And, you know, it's not like I'm making a lot of money on Twitch that I wouldn't be making on another website, potentially. So that's very possible. I'm going to continue to feel things out, though. Like, I don't really know how viable Kick is, but I've heard some good things, but there have been plenty of streaming websites over the years that have come and gone very quickly. So, yeah, believe me, I've definitely considered it. There are some advantages to Twitch, but they're starting to fade in the face of the clear and obvious disadvantages.
Right. Here's an idea. If you want to, because like, I don't think that there's any such thing as exclusivity terms clauses in the terms of service anymore, in the sense of I'm reasonably sure you could simultaneously stream on both YouTube and
Oh, yes, I could definitely
other
do that.
streaming sites. So here's my idea. You've got your VOD channel. Why not have your VOD channel also be, you can simultaneously stream on YouTube there, and you could stream here on Twitch, and if you wanted to check out another one of these websites, you could do that too, especially if you wanted to move off of Twitch entirely. I think that'd be the play. What do you think?
Yeah, I would have to balance like a bunch of different chats at all the same time, though, which is not ideal, but...
Well, with multiple monitors, how many monitors do you have again?
I just have the two.
Would you be able to add a third one?
I'd have to, like, mount it on the wall to my left, which is possible.
Because I mean, it's a hell of a thing to get involved with and to go to that level of work, especially if it was end up being something you didn't want to do. But to me, that I think would be the simplest solution, is to just have a dedicated monitor to have size the windows out so that you see all chats simultaneously.
Yeah. I could do something like that, yes. The thing is, I might not be living here that much longer. So that's something I would probably look to do after I settle that.
Right. Rest in peace, Joker. In the arms of the angel.
Man. Alright, let's see here.
I love these memes.
Aha! I think we're making progress. Did you ever watch Oz?
No.
Okay, I thought it might be something that would be relevant to your interests.
I'm considering watching it, but I heard it's really gay.
You know what it's about in a general sense, right?
Pride Month?
No.
Fuck, couldn't get that out. Shit. Yes, that something to do with prison.
Yeah. So there is plenty of gay stuff for pretty obvious reasons. It has J.K. Simmons in it. And I know you love J.K. Simmons.
Oh, there's plenty of gay stuff because gay people went to jail back then. God, no wonder everything was gone.
Oh boy.
We we need to lock the gays up again. Happy Pride.
Well, good thing nobody's here.
We'd reach more people if we we were on a bus and yelled out the window. So, like, obviously, they're marketing Diablo 4 really hard. I shit you not, on the trending page of my Xbox home layout, there are 3 different options just to click on fucking Diablo 4. They must have spent a lot of money on marketing to be able to get that kind of shit.
All I can
So,
say is thank God
when-
they at least made a good game.
Yes, no one's been complaining about that it sucks. The only complaints I've seen in terms of gameplay is people saying that they don't like the way that level scaling goes, which is just, you know, whatever. But the other major complaint I've seen is people complaining that there's not a lot of end game right now, which, I mean, duh, it just came out. But Blizzard announced that they're already in the process of making 2 expansion packs, so between how, like, people have been saying this for a long time, because Blizzard, obviously, as a company, they want to make a lot of money. And they've been getting reamed for a long time. Especially when they had that bullshit, you know, Diablo phone thing, you know, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke? They got fucking roasted for that shit, man. Absolutely obliterated. And people didn't understand it because they were like, guys, if you just do Diablo 4, you'll make a shit zillion dollars. And they didn't want to do it ever. And I think it's because they were gun shy after how bad Diablo 3's launch was, but they finally do it, and not only is this the fastest selling game Blizzard's ever had, it's already crossed into the best selling game that they've ever had. And just fucking, they're making a ton of money. Because the base game, they're charging $70 for this shit now. They're making a ton of money over this.
Yeah.
And it's only been out for, this is day 2.
Yeah.
It was one of the highest, most pre-ordered games of all time. Which is insane. So that's the point, is this is very clearly a moneymaker for them. And I think they're realizing, oh my god, for all these years we've been struggling to find out what the fuck would make us money. Turns out, if we just make good games for franchises that people like, they'll buy the game. So, wouldn't you know it, it's selling really good. So, not only that, but they also have like lots of different little fucking item packs that you can purchase and in-game currencies, which is for something else and all that kind of shit. You know, since it's a grindy RPG, online RPG, you know, it makes sense and all that. So it'd be an opportunity for them to make a lot of money long term. So they're not just going to abandon this. They seem to have learned a lot of lessons based off of negative feedback they receive from not only Diablo 3, but also the way that they've been operating as a company for a long time. So definitely seems like a trend in the right direction. We've just got to wait until it's playable in terms of all the people fucking playing it. Their queues are massive.
Because I remember when Blizzard was like the one company you could always trust to churn out a quality product. Like, most video game companies were hit or miss, but Blizzard and Valve were like the gold standard for a while there. They weren't going to screw it up, and then Blizzard, like, bro.
Blizzard got bought by Activision, that's all it took.
I think Valve is still good, they just don't make any games anymore is the thing, so, you know.
Right.
Although I have no idea if Half-Life Alyx was well received or not.
It was exceptionally well received. It's just not a lot of people have had the opportunity to play it because it's VR only. But it's easily the best VR game ever made, and a lot of people loved it. Because not a ton of people had the chance to play it because it's VR only, a lot of people just had to read the plot synopsis or watch a playthrough, and all Half-Life fans had essentially the same reaction to it, which is, thank God this is exactly what they needed to do. Because between the leak from Mark Laidlaw, who felt that Half-Life 2 Episode 3 was never going to come out, decided to leak what they had written for the plot line, so that people had the opportunity to have some form of closure over what might have been. And it's like, okay, well, now that you have that, you know, the whole thing has been spoiled for everybody. So between that and the massive expectations you have, how do you get out from under that? How do you get out from the spoilers, and how do you get out from under massive expectations people have of Half-Life 3? And the answer, which is astonishingly simple, but actually took a huge amount of balls to actually do, you just went in a completely different direction. They said, okay, we're going to do Half-Life Alyx, and there's going to be some kind of funky time travel kind of business going on here, you know, some funky G-Man mechanics. Wouldn't you know it, just like that, we got the fucking chance to basically go back and quote-unquote rewrite history as far as the Half-Life franchise is concerned, and to go in a new direction. Where now there's not the expectations, where now there's not the spoilers. Now you can say, okay, this is good for us. But it's just going to take time.
I will say that with the video game industry doing what it's been doing lately, which is, you know, disappointing people for the most part, with a few exceptions, of course, if Valve were to swoop in with like a Half-Life 3 or even an Episode 3, that is something that could like completely turn everything on its head.
Definitely. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. Yeah, I have to grind out an absolute shitload of fucking... In order to get that special Jeff Havlicek card, to make the all-time white team, I have to grind out an absolute shitload of games. Check this out. It's for this current season of my team. You have to play this game mode called Clutch Time, which is it's 5-on-5 fast-paced single-player experience where the shot clock is 10 seconds.
Oh, so 7 seconds or
And
less, literally.
basically, yeah, the shot clock is 10 seconds and it's just a 5-minute game. And, you know, clutch time, as they say. So the thing is in order to unlock that special Jeff Havlicek card, there are different tiers for the game mode, where it's an interesting concept. There's it's essentially a three strikes rule where the tier that you're on gets reset if you lose 3 games in a row. And you need to get a total of 10 wins on the tier to advance up. But as you advance up, every 2 tiers, the difficulty increases.
Does it get to a point where it's actually challenging for you?
It would, cause like I'm absolutely fucking butt blasting the AI right now because I got a ton of amazing cards because of all the VC that I had. And the difficulty it's on right now is semi-pro, which is the second easiest difficulty. There's rookie and then semi-pro, and after that is pro. Then after pro is all-star. Then there's Superstar, which is the second hardest difficulty and the one I play on my franchise right now. And then Hall of Fame, but that's only one tier, and that's the hardest tier. Once you win on the 10th tier, the Hall of Fame tier, that's when you get the special John Havlicek card. But the good news is you don't have to start over from scratch if you lose 3 games in a row. But imagine if you got some bad luck and you get to 9 wins and then lose 3 games in a row. That would suck. And have to start over
At least the
after
games are
that.
short, I guess.
Exactly.
So you basically have to get the ball up court and then immediately run a play and then just shoot.
Well, because it's only 5 minutes long, it's basically nonstop showtime. So what I do is, for defense, I always user my center to protect the interior and to get in a good rebounding position.
Mhm.
But as soon as I've got him in good rebounding position and the shot goes up, I will immediately switch to my point guard, which happens to be a 95 overall Penny Hardaway, and then I just take off. And then whoever gets the board just tosses it up to Penny, who just like immediately shoot. Now again, I'm on semi-pro, so maybe I'll have to play like normal. But yeah, there's basically enough time to run one pick and roll. Like there's no set play. It's too short. Yeah. So I say all that to say this. It's definitely going to be the hardest card for me to get, funnily enough, because I'm making a large enough amount of my team points. Plus, you get a large amount of my team points for successful of every tier. That by the time I get to that John Havlicek card, I'll have probably already bought most of the rest of the lineup. After that, I'll take the Kansas City. I switched the team name, by the way, because I think it's funnier. The Kansas City Ghosts out on the road and play against real people. And
Pretty
then
good.
watch as I'm all white team destroys all the people using LeBron. Speaking of LeBron, I actually don't know who is coping harder. Is it Mavs fans who've deluded themselves into thinking that Kyrie will successfully entice LeBron to sign with the Mavs? Or is it Lakers fans thinking that LeBron will successfully entice Kyrie to sign with the Lakers?
Why do you even want Kyrie at this point? Like, I understand he's a fun player, but
Doncic has also expressed dissatisfaction with the way that the Mavs have built a team around him because he feels like he would have already been able to be competing for a championship if they put more around him, more help, which is stupid as hell because it's all like, look, dude, much, much better all-time players have had more struggles with getting there than you have.
they were
So,
in the
like,
Western Conference Finals last year.
exactly. It's like, dude, you've been doing fine. Let your game continue to develop and give yourself a little bit more time. Because, like, for a lot of fucking players, it's usually not until they're 27 or 28 that they really, make it over the hump, for the first time. And like you said, fucking, you made the Western Conference Finals last season. Just give yourself the chance. But when he expressed the dissatisfaction, that's when the Mavs made the move to get Kyrie. So, because of that, people are thinking, well, Cuban's making some moves. This team should really be able to compete soon. They just need a couple more pieces. Now, I'm big on Kyrie, not only because he's incredibly based, but because he's also just one of the funnest dudes to watch, period. Like, I
I
would
mean,
go so far as to call him the best ball handler in history.
probably.
I really don't think anyone's better.
He's second place to Jaylen Brown.
Exactly. How could I forget? You know what that means? There was a time period where he wasn't even the best ball handler on his own team.
Uh-huh.
That's amazing. Uh, so having said that, I'm big on Kyrie. He's already won a championship, and that was as the best player on his team. So, he's definitely able to keep contributing. Um, if the Mavs put a good team together, they could really go all the way. They just gotta be patient. This shit's pretty tough. And one thing that's definitely working against the Mavs, they need to pay attention to. I didn't know this because I don't pay a ton of attention to the Mavs. Jason Kidd's their coach.
Yeah, because they had to fire Carlisle. There was some sort of scandal.
Yeah, he's the coach for the Pacers right now because the Pacers didn't care. Let me see here.
Carlisle's really good too. It was too bad that went down that way.
All it says on his Wikipedia page is that he stepped down with 2 years remaining.
There was something funky going on there behind the scenes in Dallas. I can't remember exactly what it was, but they just kind of wanted it to go away.
I googled Rick Carlisle scandal.
Let's see here.
Oh, okay. He was talking a lot about the sexual harassment and sexual assault and all this sort of stuff. The sexual impropriety thing, when the Mavs themselves had a scandal a number of years back. And, it's said that, that they don't bring up anything, in terms of, you know, saying that this is why he stepped down, this is why he got let go or anything. But within the last calendar year, he'd been talking a lot more about the scandal, and
Okay, yeah. It was something not good.
so by talking about that, he kind of killed Mark Cuban's willingness to defend the guy. And then from there, is like that's basically what made it possible for him to be told to fuck off. Second step was that Luka Doncic is essentially this generation's Deron Williams, because Deron was all like, I don't like Jerry Sloan, Hall of Fame coach, who's one of the greatest coaches ever of all time. I don't like him, so get rid of him. And Doncic apparently was not fond of Rick Carlisle, because Rick Carlisle, he was a good coach. Now,
Probably made him play
Doncic...
defense.
Exactly. Doncic is a bitch. So what happened is that Carlisle got into his ass. It's the same shit that would have happened, because like there's been video clips coming out of Spo digging into Jimmy's ass. Just from this season, just from this postseason. Everybody is aware of Greg Popovich chewing players' asses. Like, famously, Steven Jackson talked about he knew he couldn't talk back to Popovich, not because he had so much respect for him, but because Tim Duncan set the example. Popovich would light Duncan up, and Steven Jackson was all like, well, now Tim Duncan's fucking sitting here just taking us. So if he's gonna sit there and take it, I can't say shit. All... Because, like, that's what a coach's job is he's got to get players to focus, and he needs them to be working on their weaknesses so that the team gets better, you know? And... Hold on a second.
I mean, Doncic will probably follow the pattern of a lot of NBA players and mature as he gets older and realize that, you know, that kind of stuff is actually kind of good to have. But as for right now, he's not there yet.
Right now, you know, he's just like, oh my god, this guy yelled at me. That's so mean.
Like, Dirk seemed like he was an asshole when he was younger, and then he mellowed out after, like, 10 years in the league or so, maybe.
Hopefully Doncic does the same. Because I like Doncic, I like his game. But if he's going to be a bitch, then, you know, fuck it. Because Rick Carlisle's one of the best coaches in the league, and he was the best coach that the Mavs ever had. And they replaced him with Jason Kidd. I think Doncic is going to come to really regret that, because Jason Kidd's not a good coach. Having been reminded that Jason Kidd is the Mavs coach, this Mavs team will not be competitive. Jason Kidd cannot be the difference maker for a franchise. Imagine if a team was just the right coach away from competing, and then they picked up Tyronn Lue.
I mean, some
Exactly.
teams have unironically tried to do that.
Yeah, because they're fucking stupid. And Jason Kidd is not a good coach. I mean, Mike Budenholzer is an amazing coach, but the level of turnaround the Milwaukee Bucks saw as a franchise going from Jason Kidd to Mike Budenholzer was so drastic, it's hard to believe. What I'd honestly love to see, and I mean, he'd run him out of town too if he was going to be such a bitch about it, but fire Kidd immediately and then sign Budenholzer. Just toss money at him, make Monty jealous. It's got to be done.
I mean, you know Cuban would do it if he felt like it would get him over the top. Like, he doesn't care about money.
Cuban would do it if he felt like it would get him the opportunity to sexually harass more employees. But it sucks, because, like, Rick Carlisle... Like, Horns is one of the most popular play sets in the entirety of basketball. And Rick Carlisle is a major reason for that. Like, his horn set is almost flawless.
And he's
And it
also a
was,
dead ringer for Jim Carrey.
yeah, and it was, I made a fucking, cause like, during one of our Ultimate Fantasy Draft years, when I had my favorite team, which was Slam University, that one was my favorite because I took it over for someone who was like actually retarded. Like he had severe autism, and he blamed that for the bad decisions that he made. And uh, some people actually managed, some people on the NBAB actually managed to bully him into making a video of him eating dirt to
Remember
apologize
that.
for.
I remember
Yeah.
that.
So I took over this guy's team, and what he did is his very first pick, when there were a much, much better players on the board left. His first pick was Magic Johnson. He then traded his second pick for like a pick that'd be in the fucking 6th or 7th round, and like it went to one of the stupidest fucking run teams too, which was hilarious. That team ended up finishing dead last because they took the second round pick that guy would have had, and they took Anthony Davis. And the reason this is important is because it was a 3-year peak, and we were doing this in 2014.
Anthony Davis had only been in the league 3 years, right?
Exactly. The 3-year peak was rookie Anthony Davis, sophomore Anthony Davis, and then the most recent season of Anthony Davis. So everyone fucking went apeshit on how stupid that fucking.
I mean, it does genuinely sound like it wasn't his fault. Like, he actually was just like.
Yes, he was developmentally disabled, and the most important thing is that he didn't have a co-owner. Because even though a co-owner was selected during the whole process, his co-owner abandoned him almost immediately because he didn't care about actually doing the thing. So he was doing it by himself, and he was like 15 and had autism, severe autism. So he got bullied, and also the owner who convinced him to do the trade was a girl. So a lot of people think that because she was a girl, she had an advantage in manipulating him. But the point is, he made horrible, horrible decisions. So then they said, how about we have Snacks take this team over? Because I was actually part of a 3-man group, which is hilarious because that team finished in second place. And they finished in second place based around the core that I told them to pick. The first 3 picks were all me. It ended up being, I think it was like Kareem, Bird, and well, somebody else I can't remember. But everyone was talking about how that team finished in second place because of me. So I not only did I 3-peat as UFD champion, but I also was the only person to ever win first and second place in the same year.
Pretty good.
So yeah, I took a team that everybody had penciled in to finish dead last because of how behind they were, because that shit was just fucking stupid, to actually making the most entertaining team that anyone had come up with. And everyone was saying Snacks is the executive of the century for this shit. Holy fuck, what a comeback. When it actually came for the voting, it was pretty similar to like MVP voting, where you said, here's your team in first place, second place, third place, and all this. Everyone was, they were doing like voting for themselves and all this kind of shit, but like their votes were all so fucking all over the place that I ended up finishing first. And I was like, would you look at that?
Oh, it's like in the last pirate. It's in the third Pirates movie when everyone votes for themselves to be Pirate Lord.
Right. Right. So then fucking Elizabeth Swan ends up winning because she's the only person who had more than one vote. So yeah, like a lot of people penciled me in for second, and just about every team got a first place vote. So since most people had me in second place, then put themselves first, I just moved into first. So I'll never be able to forget.
I did UFD 1 year and I drafted Fred Hoiberg. That brought the house down.
based. So so that team was my favorite that I ever did, and I called them Slam University. And I'll never be able to forget the roster that I put together. I had genuinely can't believe that they let me have this either. Some of the guys that I managed to pick. So I had Magic Johnson, Sean Kemp, Sean Marion, Vince Carter, and Tyson Chandler was my starting five. And because I was just like, the only way I'm going to win this is if I lean as hard as possible into this hilarious meme of potential here. And I had Magic, so I'm like, okay, so I basically got the best fast-breaking team of all time. I have to make the dunkingest team ever. So, like, there are some people I obviously couldn't get. Like, I couldn't get LeBron. I couldn't get Shaq, the dunkingest team ever, because they obviously they're going to go so early. But I still managed to get Sean Kemp and Vince Carter and fucking Tyson Chandler. Almost all of his buckets are dunks.
You know, he almost broke the record for highest field goal percentage in a season.
Right. And my bench, that one's harder for me to remember. But this is when I said that I still can't believe they let me do this. Because again, we're talking 3-year peaks. So when I say this guy, you're going to be thinking, I could understand why he wouldn't show up in a UFD, because a 3-year peak, that's hard to say. I took 2010, 2011, and 2012 Derrick Rose.
Huh. I mean, I get it.
As my point guard off the bench. And everyone was all like, I really can't see Rose working in a fantasy draft, and that's because so many people want to have him as their starter. But putting him into this team with this system that's almost perfectly built around the concept of athleticism, having Derrick Rose come in and be your bench point guard, damn.
Ultimate Fantasy Draft Beasting. Basically, it was a thing on Game FAQ's NBA board they used to do, where people would draft like all-time rosters, and then they'd vote on who put together the best team. It was fun. Haven't done it in a
Yeah.
long time, but it was fun.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun doing that one, and one of the things that worked the best for me, and like this whole thing started, by the way, because you said that Rick Carlisle's a dead ringer for Jim Carrey. So keep that in mind, because I'm getting to the point that references this right now. When we all had our teams set up together, the athleticism when everyone had their rosters were picked, we had to do a write-up, which is now where we get the opportunity to pick our coach. And people could have the same coach if they wanted. They had to say, okay, this is my system. There was no like coach drafting or anything. It just said, I'm going to do this. This is my coach. This is the system they're using. And then do a write-up to explain why your team would win, why your team is good. So I watched hundreds of hours of Dallas Mavericks game film just to understand Rick Carlisle's motion offense and horn system that he ran in Dallas. Just so that I could fucking do a write-up for it. And when I was doing my write-up, I kept posting pictures of Jim Carrey. Whenever I talk about Rick Carlisle, I would post a picture of Jim Carrey. And nobody picked up on the meme because they all thought I was just posting pictures of Rick Carlisle. That was really good. But, yeah, I'm gonna actually check. Yeah, there we go. I had some fucking dogs on that team. Rick Rose, Mike Miller, James Worthy, Chris Webber, and Sam Perkins were my bench.
Oh, Sam Perkins. That guy was cool.
Yeah. But I actually got C-Web, which was bigly.
And C Webb should have been the greatest power forward ever. I actually think he was more talented than Tim Duncan, but he just couldn't get there. All right, guys, I'm going to take a short break. Give me a few minutes. I will be right back, and we will continue with more Zelda. Okay, I am back.
So anyway, another reason I ended up picking this specifically, that fucking 2015 Mavs team,
Hmm.
for a 2 month period there during December, January, they actually were rated as the best offense in the history of the league. Now, that's just a 2 month period. It doesn't matter. But the offensive rating was the highest during that time period that the league had ever seen. And this roster is featuring guys like Jay Crowder, Vince Carter, Devin Harris, JJ Barea, Mana Ellis. And even Mana Ellis was fucking popping off from three. So, like, a big criticism people had is like, well, Sean Marion's not much of a shooter. And I'm all like, bro, fucking like Devin Harris was shooting almost 60% from the corner. Fucking Mana Ellis was even shooting 40% from the corner. Like, these guys were fucking killing it in terms of these corner shots. Loved watching this. It's sad that Dirk's not playing anymore. He's just such
Yeah,
an amazing player.
yeah, unique. We'll probably never see another one quite like him.
Yeah. Also, a point I made talking about how Magic would have been a better shooter than people thought he was. Homeboy shot 90% from the free throw line. No one who does that is a bad shooter. Yeah, his peak season here, 1989. Had 7.3 free throw attempts per game and shot 91% on the season. Career average 85.
Oh shit! Why is Mel Gibson trending on Twitter?
Oh, I talked about it in one of the other Discord chats. Um, he's probably going to get killed is the reason why. He's making a 4-part docu-series on the $34 billion global PDF file trafficking market involving countries like Ukraine.
Oh, okay.
You remember that shit I was telling you about yesterday?
Oh, okay. I remember now. I
Yeah,
didn't. I didn't think that
that's...
would be such big news that it would have 40,000 tweets on Twitter.
Well, it's because Mel Gibson is himself a polarizing figure, and Ukraine is certainly a hot topic, hot button issue in the world today. But the main reason it's trending on Twitter with so many people talking about it is exactly like I said. A lot of people are saying Mel Gibson's probably going to get killed for this. That's a lot of very powerful, very influential people who are involved in that kind of deal. So there's a lot of people posting pictures of Hillary Clinton. It's like, hello, suicide hotline? I'd like to place an order.
Because when you see Mel Gibson trending on Twitter, it could mean so many different things.
Uh-huh.
I could go so many different directions. The year that I did UFD, I remember I took over a team partway through as a co-owner because there was one guy who was by himself.
Mhm. I think I remember that year.
And the team already had Hakeem and James Harden, which I wasn't a big fan of, admittedly, because that was the year we had a limit on field goal attempts
Oh God.
per team.
Yeah, I'd be upset too.
I kind of feel like the number one pick in that scenario should be like KG in the year he was Defensive Player of the Year for the Celtics because he didn't shoot that much, but you're getting one of the best players in the league, hands down.
It would have to be somebody who is so unquestionably efficient and all around impactful that you can stand having other people around him that wouldn't be as, eye grabbing as it normally would because of the field goal attempt limits. In that scenario, I'd still want to take somebody like Jordan. It's all like, well, yeah, he's going to chuck a lot, but I don't fucking care. It's Jordan. Plus, the same years that he's leading the league in scoring, he's also winning Defensive Player of the Year.
That's why I ended up taking Hoiberg. Like, I only had like 3 field goal attempts left,
Exactly.
and Hoiberg had one year where he shot like 48% from three.
And yeah, and someone's in a situation like that, somebody like Dennis Rodman's going to go really fast.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're limited. You should have had Fred Hoiberg as the coach too. Fred Hoiberg, player coach. That'd be such a fucking meme.
Play like 2 minutes a game for us, so honestly, he could probably pull that off. It's
Exactly.
Fred Zoidberg. Then somebody asked, like, can I take Nate McMillan and have him as a player coach?
Based.
Man, so I just randomly pulled up this YouTube clip from the 2004 finals in Game 5. Man, so there's this one sequence in the third quarter where Billups shoots the ball kind of around the rim. He misses by a little bit, and Ben Wallace just skies up for the putback. He basically jumps over, I think it's like Karl Malone. I didn't know Ben Wallace could get up like that.
Nice. This was one of my favorite things in my write-up. I talked about Paul Pierce was being interviewed talking about Vince Carter, and what he said was basically like the crux of my argument for talking about why my team would win. Paul Pierce said, this term gets thrown out a lot to describe NBA players, but with Vince it absolutely fits. This guy is just an athletic freak. In the late 90s and early 2000s, we had some serious battles. Nobody wants to be on a Vince Carter highlight. In his prime, you knew he was going to get 4 or 5 highlights every game, and I'd always be thinking about that before we played against him. My mission would always be not to make the Vince Carter highlight reel, so before the game even started, he was already in my head. From a defensive standpoint, he puts you in such a tight spot. He's held a guard out on the perimeter because of the elevation on his shot. But you were so afraid of him blowing by you and throwing down a dunk that would be all over SportsCenter that you'd allow him space to shoot. Then he'd get hot from three-point range, and at that point, what do you even do? Because there were a lot of people who were arguing, like, Vince would normally fit into a UFD system, but holy hell, you managed to find the best possible way that could make him work to the point where he's almost providing more value on the court than someone like LeBron. And I was like, yeah.
I know that Carlisle isn't a defensive coach, but the 2011 Mavs are on a pretty short list of the best defensive teams of the last 20 years, too. So
Definitely. And it again, it's zone. Like with what Spo's doing right now, like if no one's running zone next season, they're just cowards. Seriously, like
it's the best way to
if you want to,
disguise players that suck on defense.
I mean, not only that, but like wait until they show you that they know how to beat the fucking zone first. If it wins, why would you not want to win? Good lord.
Like, there are a lot of players on the Heat that individually suck on defense. Like, Duncan Robinson can't guard anybody. But when you're in zone, it's not that big of a deal.
Exactly.
Like, Dirk was not a good defender, but in the zone, he could just kind of stand there.
Exactly. And like a huge focal point of the zone that we have is that Bam literally doesn't need to move. He can just sit at the paint. So because of that, plus you've got Jimmy fucking Butler out there. The whole thing is basically like, okay, if you're bad at defense, all you need to do is just deny the easy shots and force them into the help. Out on the perimeter, you've got Jimmy Butler's the help, and on the inside, you've got Bam Adebayo's the help. So, like, holy shit. Most of the time, they're able to take away offensive opportunities just with their presence, not by actually doing something. And it can't be said enough how well coached the team is, because even the guys who are bad individual man defenders understand the team's scheme to such an extent that they know exactly where to be in order to get the team playing its best defense.
Kind of crazy to think that for a pretty good period of time, the NBA actually outlawed zone defense.
Yeah.
Like, it was literally illegal for a long time. And I'm worried the NBA will do it again because they want teams to start scoring like 170 points a game in a bid to make the sport more popular.
Oh man, that's good stuff.
Right. Okay, we're finally getting somewhere productive here, people. Wasn't Carlisle originally coaching the Pacers at one point, and then they fired him, and now he's back? Because I think he was the Pacers coach during the Artest melee. Thinking about it.
I'm not totally sure. That sounds right. Yes. Yes, he was. That was back when he had hair.
So that's like when, so that's kind of like when Mike Brown coached the Cavs again after they lost LeBron.
Right, it was hold on. He had been an assistant with the Pacers early on when Bird was the head coach. And as an assistant, he was with the Pacers during some of their best seasons, including when they made the finals. After they made the finals, and they lost, Bird stepped down as the coach and pushed for Carlisle to be selected as the team's replacement, but the team president gave the job to Isaiah Thomas instead,
Boy.
which was a horrible fucking decision, yes. So instead, because he was the most sought after potential coach basically in the league at that point, like the most sought after guy to promote up from being an assistant, Carlisle was immediately hired by the Detroit Pistons to be their new head coach. And he was the one who really guided that team into being the Eastern Conference powerhouses that they would become.
Yeah.
He even won Coach of the Year with the Pistons. But they fired him because they wanted to hire Larry Brown. They won a championship with Larry Brown, almost won two, but it was basically the same exact team that Rick Carlisle won Coach of the Year with. They'd have won just the same as with him.
Yeah, and Larry Brown ran away after a couple years, whereas Carlisle probably would have been there for 2 decades.
Exactly, because, and this is funny, after that happened, he actually went back to the Pacers, because again, Zeke had gotten fired. And as soon as Zeke got fired, Larry Bird got brought into the franchise to serve as the president of basketball operations. He's been in that role ever since. And then now he's coach of the Pacers, like he should have been the whole fucking time. But he's with them during their best season since Reggie Miller years. Reggie was actually still on the team, so their best season since that finals. And he was coach during the Malice.
I think that Pacers team was going to win the title that year. I think they had the best team, and then the Malice just ruined it.
And remembering, of course, that Rick Carlisle is one of the best coaches in the league, and also that he's loyal as fuck, this is when the stupid happened, because Larry Bird's a fucking mongoloid. Even though by this point Rick Carlisle was the best coach that the Pacers as a franchise had ever had, Larry Bird fires him, saying that the Pacers needed a new voice. Larry Bird, of course, offered to let Carlisle stay on in the front office because he's all like, yeah, I'd like to switch out my coaches the same way that some people change their underwear. Like, what the fuck? But, because you're obviously a highly competent individual, I still want you here with us. I'm just really autistic about this whole fucking thing. Carlisle said, screw that shit. I'm done with this poverty-ass franchise. Signed with the Mavericks. He then spent 13 fucking years there.
Kind of too bad, because after the title, they were kind of stuck in poverty mode for a long time. They couldn't land anybody good. Then they get Luca, and it's like they're finally out of poverty. And then he has to go.
Right. Luca ran him out, and Cuban wasn't willing to defend him because Carlisle started talking about the diddling. Ugh.
It's like I say, there's a certain amount of money that you as an individual can have where you just can't help but going a little bit insane. You know, I would have figured that Cuban would have been one of the clean ones, but I guess not.
Yeah, anybody who appears on The Simpsons is, definitely.
Like, remember the guy who used to run Twitter, Jack Dorsey?
Yes.
Like, that's a great example of what I'm talking about. Like, that guy used to be normal, and now, ever since he got super rich, he takes, like, blood, and he takes, like, he bathes in the blood of, like, virgin Eskimos to maintain his youth and some shit like that. Like, it's just like, what happened to you, dude?
Yeah, pretty much.
Did you ever see that scene in Hostel 2 where the chick is bathing in the blood of her murder victim?
I didn't watch the Hostel movies. You could call it something of a blood feud that I have with Eli Roth. I despise that man.
You don't really watch Hostel movies to enjoy them. You watch them to lose faith in humanity.
Oh, well, it's not something I really do, but,
You've already lost all your faith in humanity.
exactly.
I used my PER wristwatch calculator.
Yeah, basically.
So Marshawn Lynch is going to star in a movie next year. Apparently it's an LGBTQ comedy, and it's called Bottoms.
No. This is not how I wanted Marshawn to come out. I mean, I don't think that movie's gonna be... I'm just kidding. Jesus.
At least it doesn't star LeBron.
Fair enough. Although, to be fair, that would make a lot more sense. Two high school senior girls set up a fight club to hook up with cheerleaders before graduation. Okay, now it makes more sense. Marshawn Lynch as himself. Oh.
Whose idea was it to name the movie that? Like, you know what people are gonna fucking think.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be a gay man movie, not a gay woman movie. Totally different.
Yeah. Gotta admit, with a name like Bottoms, that's a very logical assumption. Like, that's what I initially thought, too. If you were talented in the right areas, do you think you could have ever done a career in porn? Or would it just not be in you?
Like many guys, I may have tried. However, it's once you understand what a career in porn for a man actually entails, that's when you say no. I'm not going to mention the shit here because if there's anyone watching this, they'll just be disgusted. But there's a lot of things you're going to have to do that you really don't ever want to have to do.
So what you're saying is that Boogie Nights is a romanticization of the industry.
Essentially, yes. Here, I'll send you a DM.
It romanticizes. Let's just go with that. Fuck it.
A very substantial number of female porn stars have HIV, so black.
Like, have you seen Boogie Nights, by the way?
It's got Mark Wahlberg in it, right?
Right.
I've seen pieces.
Yeah. Right. So that in that movie, basically, Mark Wahlberg is a high school dropout who works as a dishwasher at a restaurant, and he basically gets discovered by a porn director, so he gets to skip all of that stuff. And the thing with him is that he's not only got a massive schlong, he's also very, very skilled at being able to go again and again and again and again and again without needing that. So he gets to avoid some of the pitfalls that you're talking about.
Lord.
I know it doesn't seem like it, but it's actually a very good movie. Why we as a society have everybody collectively decided to refer to Wahlberg as Marky Mark. And, like, there's not a single person in the world that doesn't. Sure how that came to be. Would you have a moral objection to being a porn actor, you think, as well?
Earlier in my life, no. Now, I would, yeah. But earlier in my life, when I would have tried, then no. But, you know.
Let's see here.
Jesus. Oh, yeah. That's another thing, too. They did NBA 2K simulations of the UFD teams that we did that year, and they asked me what team I wanted Slam University to be. I said, make them the Sonics. Good stuff. That was because they let us pick a celebrity fan, and I wanted the celebrity fan to be Fraser Crane.
Better than Frankie Muniz.
Exactly. Fuck me. That year, the team that drafted Shaq really fucked it. The team that drafted Shaq also took Westbrook and Dr. J. And I was like, those are not the guys you want to have in a triangle setup, dude. And he's all like, oh, I wouldn't run Shaq in the triangle. And it's all like, okay. I guess you enjoy losing.
I mean, Shaq had success without the triangle, just not elite success.
No. Are you familiar with the Kyle Lowry has a giant ass meme?
Oh, very. Oh, very much.
I feel like if the Heat ran the triangle, Lowry would unironically be an MVP candidate. A triangle.
During Phil Jackson's second stint with the Lakers, they ran the rectangle. 4 Laker players stand in a rectangle and watch Kobe dribble.
Oh man.
Ah.
Miss him.
Makes me sad to know that we're never going to find that picture somebody drew of Kobe shooting a 3 against the Nets
Oh yeah.
with like 5 guys on him.
Oh yeah, that one, that was great. Yeah, that makes me sad too. But if there's any one thing I've learned, it's that as you get older, there's just less and less of the world that you knew and loved growing up. It all starts to fade away.
Remember the GIF that people kept posting on the NBAB of Tracy McGrady looking really pissed? And then, like, slowly the scoreboard came up and the T-Wolves were beating the Rockets by like 40 points.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I may have just found it. Oh, wait, no. Okay, it wasn't the blowout that I was thinking. For some reason, I remember the score being significantly higher, but the idea is still the same.
Tracy McGrady hits a huge 3 to cut the lead to 38. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love that face. I like to imagine he had the same look on his face when Ray Allen hit that shot.
Ah. Oh.
Or like, TV, ow my back.
Yeah, basically.
Too bad they couldn't, Vince Carter and T-Mac couldn't have just stayed in Toronto.
Well, T-Mac calls it one of his biggest regrets.
That team would have been so good.
See, what's really sad, this is the one to really think about here. Timberwolves had Chris Bosh and Vince Carter on the team at the same time. Why didn't Vince stay? Because, I mean, of course, hindsight's 2020. If he just had some faith in the kid. Because can you imagine how good that team would have been in the late 2000s with the way that offenses played? If Vince kept working on his jump shot and you had stretch big Chris Bosh, that would have been something.
I mean, Vince Carter could have been like poor man's Jordan, and T-Mac could have been like rich man's Pippen, pretty easily.
And Bosh could have been like a rich man's Chris Bosh.
I mean, deep down, playing in Toronto must be a very depressing experience, so probably better that they all got out of there.
I believe it. What do you mean to complete my team? What the hell are you talking about? Let me go back to the main menu and see if it's gotta get fixed or something. Oh. Really? Oh, the ball, that's why. Oh, I'm not allowed to use that ball forever. Oh, that's actually really stupid. whatever. Hope I get to use the WNBA ball, because I don't know why, but it just looks better to me.
Yes, it is.
Yay. Wow, that team has awful fucking spacing. Are you kidding me? Now, their front court, they got Manu Ginobili and Dennis Johnson, which isn't the worst, but still not exactly good. Especially because Dennis Johnson had no three-point shot to speak of. But their front court is Dennis Rodman, Elton Brand, and Ralph Sampson.
Ralph Sampson.
And 9/11 airplanes.
I mean, they did call Ralph Sampson and Akeem Olajuwon the Twin Towers, right?
And this team is the Knicks. I'm not even kidding. Oh, that's a good meme.
I'm George Morrison.
What NBA player had the closest name to Osama bin Laden all time?
Reef Abdul Rahim? I don't know.
Dodge Sham guy? Wow. Well, so much for that. Manu literally just hit a shot from half court. Like he just pulled up from half court and drilled it.
So he's playing like J.R. Smith did in NBA 2K14.
Wow. Yeah, pretty much. God damn, boy. What? My highest rated card is like,
Can you imagine if Manu Ginobili actually did that while playing for the Spurs in real life, just pulled up from half court? I think Popovich would bench him for like 2 months. Even if he made it.
I can't even imagine. If he made it, that would have been something. Okay. Karl Anthony Towns can't score for some reason. I don't know why. But Ralph Sampson, of all people, is locking him up. And then Giannis just posters him. What the fuck? This is so stupid.
Oh, Karl Anthony Towns getting posterized is not really a surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, have you watched Karl Anthony Towns play defense? It's not great.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's a spicy lob. He never broke eye contact with Rodman. That's based. The Kansas City Ghosts.
Make all the cheerleaders wear clan outfits.
No, they're ghost outfits. They're ghosts.
You say so.
Got him. Oh my god. This one's actually come down to the wire. Or we could just trade threes for a while. Gonna do that and user the defense on Mana because he's unstoppable. Perfect.
You believe the Yao Ming conspiracy theory?
Which is?
Basically that he was bred by the Chinese government in order to become a basketball, like they influenced the relationship between the husband and wife that were, you know, who were both unnaturally tall, trying to produce something like a Yao Ming.
Well, I believe that the Chinese government breeds all of their citizens. And
There was a book written a
I
while ago called Operation Yao that basically said there was a plan on the part of the Chinese government to breed Yao Ming.
to be completely honest with you, while it does sound plausible, I don't think it's accurate, because if the Chinese government conspired to have Yao Ming be genetically engineered through their own machinations, they would have made sure his name was Mao.
Good point.
Then it would have been even easier for American audiences to become fans of his, because they'd be able to call him Eminem. Then that'd be the easiest way to confuse people. Oh man, did you see what Eminem did last night? Wait, the rapper or the basketball player? Ah, that's good stuff.
It would be like if the U.S. government kidnapped LeBron and Serena Williams and forced them to procreate.
It'd be like if the U.S. government ever kidnapped LeBron and said, "LeBron, have you ever thought about becoming a woman?" Oh, fuck. Oh god, that's amazing. Andy Hardaway with a spin dunk in transition on Manu. He spins around Manu, and then his vertical takeoff, man, he like leaps straight up into the air and then clears the next 8 feet to get to the basket. He just warps. It's just good shit. I love this game sometimes.
Does 2K23 have like a dunk contest type thing where you have to do like button inputs to do complex dunks? Does it have anything like that, like the old NBA Lives did?
I'm not sure. I'll check. This game's almost over. There's only 15 seconds left. Anu chucks up another contested brick. Thank you. Elton Brand, to no one's surprise, scored 0 points. I never in my life thought that I would have seen a 98 overall Elton Brand card in my team, but here we are.
Elton Brand was cool.
Yeah, he was, but the pink diamond 98 overall Elton Brand, what the fuck? Alright, just as I thought, you earn 0 VC from playing my team games. You only earn my team points. Just as I suspected. Alright, so... obviously it would be in the WNBA section, right? They may have it when you're actually in a season, but there's no way to just go in and play a dunk contest. The dunk contest is at the very least in my player. It may be possible to participate in franchise mode. I just skip All-Star Weekend because the only times I've made it to it so far have been when I've been simming seasons. I haven't played an All-Star Weekend yet.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
But yes, it is at the very least in my player, and they have, just like it says, the Guitar Hero style controls. Shame that JaVale McGee never won a dunk contest because the shit he did was pretty fucking cool.
He was in it one year, and that might have been the year when everybody just decided they were going to give it to Blake Griffin, no matter what. I'm not sure
He
if that
was
was
in
the
there
same
more
year.
than 1 year. He was in the year when they did the bullshit Blake Griffin thing. And he also did it the season afterward, and it was just total nonsense.
Where is... Alright, guys, so we're going to turn in this quest.
And JaVale McGee was totally robbed, because you're right, they did that bullshit with the, he just jumped over a car, which is like, okay, that's stupid. What JaVale McGee actually did is he had a second fucking backboard set up,
Yeah, and he
and
dunked twice.
He dunked 2 balls at the same time, which is exceptionally fucking difficult.
Mm-hmm. I got to step away real quick. 1 second, guys. Be right back.
Oh, wait.
Okay, I am back. All right. Okay. Yeah, JS, it's going on a little bit longer than I expected, and I still don't have the Master Sword, so honestly, I don't know how much longer this is going to take.
Oh. Hmm? Um.
But how you doing tonight, JS?
I'm okay.
Aha. Yeah. Okay.
All right. I'm Brandon94. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for the follow.
Hey.
Goals.
Huh. Oh.
All right, very nice.
Aha.
91 overall, Cleveland, Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
What a shit.
Okay, yeah, he played for the Bulls for 1 year, the Cavs for 1 year, and then he went back to Miami. Okay. At least there's a little bit of a happy ending there.
Exactly.
You know,
I
the
got a
thing
happy ending
was,
for you.
that
Right here.
final
What?
season for Miami, he wasn't complete dog shit. He walked away before he was completely atrocious.
Well, he looked completely atrocious on the Bulls and the Cavs because they didn't know what to do with him.
Yeah.
That's why it was good he came back home. Because we actually know what to do with him.
how much money the Heat. You said the Heat, like, do you think the Heat are taking care of him now that he's retired, like Dirk style?
I would think so. However, instead of working with the franchise, he then decided he really wanted to be a sports journalist or something. That's part of why he decided his kid deserved to be a Autobot.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Lord knows, but yeah, I think Wade kind of split off from the franchise because like UD obviously is getting fucking taken care of Dirk style. I mean, he's still a player, you know.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Maybe Pat's actually really based and was like, you know what, dude, we just not my town.
Um. Oh.
Believable.
Oops.
Hey.
Sometimes some players just don't have it in them one game, and then other guys do. So it's just a matter of get the ball out of the hands of the guy who doesn't have it in him tonight, and into the hands of the guy who does, and then just let him cook. Because 2K's a meme sometimes.
Yes, there's some correlation to real life with that in a way, right? Like sometimes Jamal Crawford just starts feeling it, and you got to get him the ball and get out of his way.
Exactly. Or you know, Kobe ever. Whoa. The GOAT.
Is there any room for Kelly Olynyk on the all-time white team?
I'm gonna actually search to see, because look, man, if they have a fucking 98 overall Elton Brand card, they better have a 98 overall Kelly Olynyk card. So I've got 90 more seconds in this game, and
Are you
I'll
still winning
check.
pretty much all your games?
Yes. So I haven't gotten to where the difficulty increases. Once the difficulty goes up, I expect I'll still be able to win more than I lose. So I'll still be able to tear up and shit, but it'll be a little tougher. But I don't think I should have much problems. I have a very well-rounded and balanced team right now. And I obliterated all of that for this game just so that I could put Kobe in. real life kind of shit. First of all, Kobe taking off from like 20 feet away and somehow dunking it still. What a cheese animation that was. Secondly, I scored 21 points. Kobe had 17.
GG.
Pretty much. Kobe had more than the entirety of the rest of the other team.
Hey, that happened in real life once.
That's right. Kobe Bryant, 61. Dallas Mavericks, 59.
I still can't believe he allowed himself to get benched in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, if he kept going, he easily could have not only ended up outscoring the whole Mavs team through the whole fucking game, but he could have easily outdone the 81-point thing. He was going for at least 82. Oh, oops, I want to check the auction house. Right back to the main menu. Whoopsie daisy. Hell yes. Kelly Olynyk is in my team. It looks like his highest rated card is an 88 overall.
Oh, that's not really going to keep up with the other elite teams, so maybe you shouldn't do it, but maybe he could be like your cheerleader or something.
As a stretch big, that's actually not a terrible option to bring off the bench because he's got good shooting stats for a center coming off the bench. Because right now I'm using a Dark Matter Steven Adams, which is incidentally like one of the craziest and most hilarious fucking examples of a meme big in the game. But we got his mid-range shot is 92 and his three-point shot's 87. Now compare that to the 88 overall Olynyk. His mid-range is 85, his three-point shot's 86. So that's not that much worse. You know, if I wanted to outright meme, I could. I could bring him in as my secret weapon.
Yeah, when the other team has Kevin Love on it, you can bring him in to injure him.
Exactly.
Remember when Derek Fisher hit the 0.4 second shot, and as soon as he made it, the entire Lakers team, like, sprinted to the locker room before they could, like, review it?
Hilarious.
That was the year that Al Davis was doing NBA play-by-play, which I actually thought was kind of cool. I'm surprised they didn't really do that very much after that. Al Davis is a good announcer.
Oh, my back. Yeah, you never know, to be sure. I've got a lot of fucking packs I gotta open. Good lord.
Smoking that pack.
Basically. Yeah, I don't know what it's like in Washington State, but here in California, flavors, which includes menthol, tobacco products, are banned. So, Newports are illegal.
How is the whole state not gotten ripped apart in protest yet?
Oh, hell yeah! Got a 99 overall Phoenix Suns Amari Stoudemire.
Oh, that could be a part of Slam Dunk University.
Yeah. Well, because it's actually cheapest for me to do this in terms of first all-time all-white players that I want to put together. The cheapest one for me to get first is actually Steve Nash. I'm going to reunite the two.
Very nice. And Amari should have...
Wait a minute! You just got a great idea! Amari's Jewish. He's actually Israeli.
Yeah, he is.
And because of that, I could do a hilarious meme where I've got the entire all-time white team and then just toss Amari in. Because then people could be like, wait a minute, I don't understand it. Amari's the only guy in the team that's not white. And I'm all like, oh, you're saying that because he's Jewish? Magnificent. Just gotta wait for me to get banned real quick.
Amari was originally going to star in Uncut Gems instead of KG, but for religious reasons, Amari refused to cut his hair so he would look like what he actually looked like in 2012. So they went with KG because KG's looked the same for like 800 years.
I respect it, but at the same time, they should have just said, you know what, screw it. And then just like hand wave the shit and pretend that it's not happening. Because, just put in a line where Amari says it's a weave. All you gotta do.
Yeah, because I know you haven't seen the movie, but Sandler plays a Knicks fan. And then the other co-star is like KG. And I don't know, it is a little bit weird because obviously you can see the intent was like, oh, it's going to be a Knick player who's interacting with the Knicks fan in this movie. And then they're like, oh, we can't get Amari, so, you know, let's just paste it together with a fan of another team.
Yeah, I'm
Or a player from another team.
not a fan of it, to be sure.
Because, I mean, I don't know if the rivalry is alive anymore, but I'm pretty sure Knicks and Celtics don't like each other very much. I guess...
Hear that, Boston? Formidable. Third worst loss ever for New York.
I mean, then again, the Knicks have never really been good in your lifetime, and you still hate the Knicks, so I guess it's, you know...
I was alive in the 90s, come on.
How good were the Knicks in the 90s, really? I guess they made the finals twice. That's pretty good.
I thought you were going for a Patrick Ewing as a bust meme or something. Which I would have accepted. Is this an upgradable shack? And
Okay,
I'm not
let
going
me
to
take
use
a
them,
look
but that's
here.
what it looks like.
Lost Eastern Conference semis. Lost in the first round. Conference semis, conference finals, final. Actually, I mean, they were a team that pretty much won at least one playoff series basically every year. And then the whole 2010, the whole OOs is just, wow. Alright, I don't really care about the other sensor stuff. I'm pretty sure I know what it is. Maybe I'll get it later, but this is going to open the game up significantly for me. There's gotta be, like, something over here.
Craziest thing about the .4 shot to me is that Duncan hit the potential game winner to put the clock at .4 in the first place.
Yeah.
So if Fisher misses that shot, the Spurs go on to win that series. Because, I mean, all the Lakers actually did was just lose to the Pistons in the first place, and then they blew up the fucking Jacoby squad. If Duncan makes that shot and it stands as the game winner, there's a realistic chance that the Spurs three-peat there.
Yeah, I mean, they suffered 2 straight gut punches in that 5-year span.
Right.
They won it 3 times, then they had the Derek Fisher shot, and then they also had, remember, they were up by 3 against the Mavericks with like 15 seconds, and then Manu fouled Dirk for no reason on a drive to the basket, and they blew the game. Like, Manu just went full clown mode.
Good quality stuff. Which is funny because, like you're saying about those gut punches, both of those teams would just go on to fucking gag it in the finals. My God. Think about it. Winning 4 championships in 5 years, including a three-peat, because they wouldn't have beat the Heat. Hell yeah. Let's go. But,
Well, here's the question. Would they have beaten the Timberwolves? Because if they beat the Lakers, the next series would have been the Wolves. The one year the Wolves were really good.
Yes, and not only would they have beaten them, but they would have beaten them so convincingly that no one would ever be able to argue KG over Tim Duncan under any circumstances. They already can't, but there are people who are all like, you know what, KG and Duncan are on the same level, and if you just gave KG Duncan's teams, he would have had the same kind of success. And it's all like, that's total shit. Total and complete shit. Duncan is the GOAT.
Uh, okay. No, this is the right one. Where the hell is the Master Sword? The heck?
I like this. These are two definitions of jujitsu. Involuntary yoga and the art of gently folding clothes with people still in them. Fantastic.
Yo, pretty good. Wait a minute, is this the wrong dragon? How do we have two dragons that look identical? Okay, not really identical. Okay, yeah, this is the wrong dragon. God damn it. That's annoying. Yeah. Also, that one year where the Spurs lost to the Mavericks in '06, I think Duncan like played that whole year injured. Mm. I remember in overtime against the in overtime against the Mavericks, he actually sucked really bad. Like Dusonga Diop or whatever his name was dominating him. He didn't have anything left. So yeah, just a couple of brutal breaks.
That was a hell of a shot from Duncan, too. To me, that's more impressive than Fisher's shot. Fisher just put up a quick three, but like that's something anybody could have done. As long as they let the shot go in time. Like the anti-Marcus Smart. But Duncan's shot, my god.
Yeah, and
He's on the move. He's like moving diagonally backwards, fade away over two defenders. One of them Shaq.
Or Kobe hit the game winner with 10 seconds left, and then Duncan hits the game winner with 4 seconds left, and it's like Fisher. Thanks to Fisher, most people don't even remember those first 2 shots.
Fun fact, as I go back and watch this again, during that Spurs possession where Duncan hits that shot, Manu flops twice trying to get a call. First he flops on Shaq, who's defending Duncan, like he flopped like Shaq tried to trip him, no call. Then after the shot goes up, he flops hoping for a loose ball foul in case Duncan missed. And he basically just like dragged Karl Malone down with him, which was hilarious.
I mean, would the referees actually call a foul in that situation in like a million years? Like, that seems like a colossal waste of time.
They wouldn't even call that as a foul nowadays, let alone in 2004. Like, he was trying so hard. You gotta respect the hustle. But yeah, nice meme.
Right?
How much longer are you gonna go? Because it's after midnight.
Probably like another 20 minutes or so.
Okay, I'll be right back then.
Uh,
pick.
Yo.
I think we can all agree that the best game winner Kobe ever hit was that one time in Colorado.
I hope the story about him requesting the Trinity and the girl refusing to do it is true.
Based.
There's a rumor that, like, they were explaining the situation to David Stern, and, like, they were like, well, apparently he asked for the Trinity and she refused to perform it. And David Stern was like, what the hell is the Trinity? So they had to explain this sex act to David Stern. And he wasn't very happy.
He was like, what?
I miss David Stern. Adam Silver seems like a giant puss in comparison. Stern was actually fun. Adam Silver is such a stuffed suit in comparison. And I say that as a Sonics fan.
Yeah, I mean, David Stern was a man you love to hate. He was like the perfect villain, but at the same time he was hilarious, you know, and he loved being an amazing troll. Like literally just denying the Chris Paul trade for basketball reasons. Hilarious. Silver, like you said, he doesn't have any balls, but at the same time he's also far worse for the league, for sports in general, and as a person. You know, he's not a villain, he's just a douche.
Right.
And a fake nice guy. Oh, now that is absolute horseshit, dude. A 91 overall Kelly Oubois Jr.
Oh, I remember him.
Come on, man. That I believe, though. 96 overall Jeremy Lin. Go off, King.
Yeah. I mean, God. Really feels like Jeremy Lin should have lasted in the NBA longer than he did.
Well, he was drafted low for a reason. Is because even though he had talent and he had gifts, he was not very capable of growing. Jeremy Lin was easy to shut down by just taking away his right hand. When you forced him to use his left hand, he became way less effective, and that's been true his entire career. He never got better. If he got better, then he would have been a perennial all-star caliber player. But if he was able to do that, then he would have been taken in the teens.
Ooh, boy. So,
That being said, in the right system, he's always able to pop off.
Yeah. Apparently he's still playing over there in China.
Taiwan, I think. That would make a lot more sense if it was Taiwan, but I'll check.
ChatGPT was asked who are the top NBA players of all time, and this is the list it made. Pretty hilarious. ChatGPT. Why do I want to say GTP?
Wow. Now, obviously, the biggest and most glaring error is that LeBron's first. However, the longer you look at it, the more you realize that this is a travesty. Because number one, you don't see Tim Duncan anywhere in it. Then you see Dolph Shays. What the fuck? As
Barely
if that
know
is
who
enough.
Dolph Shays is.
Charles Barkley's in this list. But like, who the fuck is Dolph Shays?
May as well have said George Meekin.
Dolph Shays played so long ago. His debut team was the Syracuse Nationals. He played from 1949 to 1964.
Well, I guess nobody can question ChatGPT because none of us were alive to see it, but I very much doubt that's the accurate.
Yeah, I mean, playing from the debut of the league, back in the time when fucking there were only 8 teams, he only had 1 championship. Now, to be fair, that's because Bill Russell was busy farming the league for all those rings. However, come on. I mean, this guy was so irrelevant, the 76ers retired his jersey in 2016. You know why?
Why?
Because he died a few months previously.
So fucking stupid. Do it when he's alive so it actually matters to him. Just don't
I mean,
even
number
bother
one,
doing
that. But, like, I don't see anything anywhere about him being a not liked or controversial.
Oh, shit.
Oh my god, it gets even crazier. Dolph Shays was Jewish.
Oh,
He
boy.
is the best and most famous Jewish athlete of all time in terms of the impact he had on the game.
Is that why Chat GPT puts him there?
I mean, as if you think that isn't enough, look what number he is on the top 10. Does that number, if you add the word million, remind you of anything?
And you know what that list is kind of like? It's like the guy who made the Corey Maggette topping.
Yeah,
Just tries to
not
like
bad.
sneak one past everybody.
Just like, hold up a second. Oh man, the best part to me is how high Larry Bird is. Like, what the fuck? I mean, it takes balls to put Steph Curry on your top 10, even though it's accurate. People are just like, they're so obsessed with not putting more modern players in there that they don't want to. So having Steph be above Magic makes sense. Having Steph be 7th all time makes sense. Larry Bird at 4th? When you see Bird and Shays on the list, it's all like, I'm starting to think Chad GPT might have been brainwashed. It's a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Acidness.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and ask Chat GPT. Just to,
What is your opinion of Dolph Shays?
Okay, I just asked it to make a list of the top 50 players in NBA history. It's a little different than the one in this picture.
Okay, so Jeremy Lin right now plays in the P League Plus, which is the first fully professional basketball league in Taiwan. So yes, he is in the Taiwanese basketball league. And I was all like, considering Jeremy Lin is actually Taiwanese, I don't think he would want to go to China play, because that, in the current climate, that would be pretty similar to a Russian guy going to play in the Ukrainian basketball league.
Okay, yeah.
Would not be well received. No, even though it's funny because my Kobe card is far from being the most valuable version of Kobe's cards. Like, it's actually pretty bad. It's like an 88 overall Kobe or something, I think. And he's actually the worst player in my lineup by overall rating. However, no one is a more guaranteed bucket. Like, I don't know what the fuck, if it's just animations or what, but he's practically unstoppable.
Alright, so I just got Chat GPT to make a list of the top 50 players. I guess it's learning over time because this one's a little bit different than the one. Like, for one, there's no Dolph Shays, so somebody educated Chat GPT. But they have Tracy McGrady in the top 40. That's still not really, I'm not really feeling that one. They have Karl Anthony Towns at 29. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
It just tried to Corey McGetty me again.
Carl Anthony Towns at 29. Wow.
Hey Marsh, how you doing tonight?
I'm thinking of doing another franchise where I actually fast forward to the 2010s so that I can rebuild there.
Who would you build around, do you think?
That's the thing. I don't know, because like there are so many guys who've been taken in the last 6 or 7 seasons who are actually so exciting at the prospect of building around them. You know, like since you'd be able to remove injuries and actually fix their flaws, guys like Markel Fultz, Ben Simmons, Zion Williamson, suddenly they're on the table as being potentially really good players. Cat is, by attributes, a beast in 2K. What holds him back in real life is that he's a mental midget. And you as the player are not a mental midget, so you get rid of his weakness right there. So Cat is someone you could build around too. I always liked Michael Kidd-Gilchrist in terms of what he offered. I respect his game a lot, and I love him as a person too. He's a really good dude.
What about Evan Turner?
Unironically, in 2K, he was always valuable. Jimmy Butler, of course, is good. Kyrie Irving's quickly becoming one of my favorite players of all time, not just from basedness, but I was talking about it earlier, like fucking probably the best ball handler in league history. He's basically Allen Iverson if Allen Iverson's talent translated into being successful.
So that's the list that ChatGPT gave me.
Okay, Jordan being above LeBron, very good. Tim Duncan's way too low. There's no earthly reality where Tim Duncan belongs below Hakeem Olajuwon. I will fight anyone who wants to say otherwise. People have a lot of... I mean, I know it's just a computer program, it doesn't matter. But anyone who would actually put Duncan below Hakeem, I would want to fight them. Because Hakeem's capabilities as a player never translated into actual success other than a short period of time where Jordan was not in the league. But as if that isn't enough, a lot of it came from like other teams who routinely were beating him happen to be injured, or even when he poached Clyde Drexler from the Blazers, the Blazers were routinely keeping the Rockets away. And then later on, the Jazz were easily able to send the Rockets packing. But those years when he got it done, not only was the Western Conference injured to let him get to the finals, but once he actually got there, you had phenomenal chokes in both series that he ended up winning. John Starks, who had one of the biggest chokes of all time, let the Knicks lose. And then Nick Anderson, who choked to such an extent that his nickname for the rest of his life became Nick the Brick, and he actually had, even though he was a career very good free throw shooter, for the next 4 seasons after that, he had worse free throw shooting percentages than Shaq.
Yeah, it derailed his career. I remember reading about
That series broke him. And as a man, he still talks about it and still thinks about it like daily. That series basically broke him. So, here we are talking about, man, if it hadn't have been for like these amazing, once in a franchise's history, godly level shots, it just seems to keep happening to Tim Duncan. But like still, the man won fucking 5 rings in spite of that. Wait, hold on. Was it 4 or 5? 5. Yeah, there's 1999, 2003, 2005, 2007, and then the one we will never discuss. Yeah. Okay, so he still managed to win 5 rings, And then we're sitting here talking about it like, you know what, if it hadn't have been for some of the most insanely amazing shots we've ever seen, Homeboy would be sitting on 8. The finals MVP in all but 2.
Yeah. And, you know, at the end of the day, you get what you get, right? Like, sometimes
Exactly.
things don't go your way, but I kind of agree. At this point, it's really hard to argue that, especially because... And a lot of people tell me that I put way too much stock into stuff like this. But I look at these players who, like, age gracefully, and they're still useful players even when they're playing really old. Like Duncan was able to do. Like, I think that's valuable. I think that matters.
Exactly. Excuse me. To me, longevity and consistency is huge for me, which is why I have Kareem so high. It's why, even though I don't want to, I have LeBron so high. And it's why I have Duncan as the GOAT. Because I do not believe for a second that Kawhi deserved to win MVP in 2014 over Duncan. He only got it because of the meme of, oh, the defense on LeBron. But, like, LeBron fucking popped off. He got anything he wanted. Kawhi was barely even a factor. The reason the Heat lost, and especially to the level that they did, was because no one else was scoring because of the defense. The rest of the defense was locking them down. So that's just awards voters being retards. But, like, you know, we were 3 once-in-a-lifetime shots. So, you know, even though it keeps managing to happen at Tim Duncan's, those are still the most legendary moments in those franchises' histories. The Ray Allen shot, the Fisher shot, and then what you were talking about with Dirk randomly getting fouled.
Yeah.
And then he actually drained him, which is still, there's no guarantee. But each and every one of those moments is for that particular franchise, at the very least, top 3, holy fuck, I can't believe that happened moments. The Ray Allen one in particular is the most memorable moment in the history of the NBA Finals. The fact that that keeps happening to Tim Duncan is insane, but, you know, if you look at those fucking things, it's like, man, we were really close to 8 rings for that fucking guy, with him winning Finals MVP 6 times.
Like, I don't think this list is that bad. There's obviously some stuff that's like, what... Like, the Karl Anthony Towns thing is bizarre. Like, that has to be a glitch. I think everything else is okay, but there are still some things that I would definitely disagree with pretty strongly.
Yeah, Hakeem's too high in general. Larry Bird also is too high in general. I don't think Jerry West should be that high. And at the same time, I don't think Dirk should be that high either. Like, there's... I mean, yeah, Cat's a meme.
Yeah, that's basically the Corey Maggette thing all over again. That's the only way.
Wade below KG. Wade below KG. I don't like that.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised because it's an AI.
Music. What? What? I'm sorry. I didn't look closely enough. Wade is right below KG, which is what I was initially having umbrage with. 2 picks right above Dwayne Wade is Isaiah Thomas. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, Ninja has a long rant about how Isaiah Thomas is the most overrated player in NBA history.
He's definitely up there, yeah.
He is not a fan.
Ray Allen down at the bottom with people like Bernard King, Elvin Hayes, Russell Westbrook right above him? I'm not sure.
The thing is, Ray was never like a top 3 player in the league. He was just really, really good for a long time, and then he was a good role player. Like, he was never a serious MVP candidate.
Which is fair and everything. However, first of all, he's more relevant